Today, we're going to explore a really thought-provoking way of looking at what comes next. It's a framework that might just challenge our most basic assumptions about eternity itself.
So let's just jump right in with a thought experiment. Imagine you exist forever, but for just 1 minute of every single hour, you feel pain. The other 59 minutes? Total relief. So here's the question. Over eternity, how much do you actually suffer in total? Well, this is where our brains kind of short circuit, right? Because mathematically, that 1 minute of suffering per hour stretched out over forever, that equals infinite suffering. But wait, those 59 minutes of relief, that also adds up to infinite relief. So you end up with two equal infinities existing at the same time. It's a total paradox. The punishment is no more final than the comfort. It just doesn't make sense. But here's the twist. The math isn't wrong. Our assumption is. This whole paradox only exists because we're trying to use a clock, minutes and hours, to measure a reality where time, as we know it, simply doesn't exist. And that leads us to the first big idea here. The paradox isn't some flaw in the idea of eternity. Nope, it's a massive flaw in our model of it. We have to completely rethink what forever even means. And you know what? The source material gives us a huge clue about how to do that. The Quran is very clear on this. It says that its descriptions of the hereafter, all the stuff about gardens and rivers, are allegories. They're not meant to be literal blueprints you can measure with a stopwatch. So let's go beyond the clock. Let's really dig into this idea of eternity, not as more time, but as a completely different way of being. Okay, this is the core concept that changes everything. Eternity isn't just a really, really, really long time. It's a state of existence where our whole concept of past, present, and future has been stripped away. Time is gone. So when we hear about rivers or fire, these aren't literal physical things. They're the closest our human language can get to describing something that is fundamentally beyond our experience. I mean, think about it. Even the word we use, forever, is itself just an allegory. It's the best our time-obsessed minds can come up with, to grasp something completely timeless. And this is absolutely crucial. Saying it's an allegory doesn't mean it's less real. It actually means the opposite. It means the reality is so powerful, so much more intense, that our words can only point towards it. The truth is bigger than any description we could ever give it. Okay, so if time isn't the organizing principle, then what is? Well, the source material offers this incredibly powerful alternative, the ultimate debt. This changes our view of judgment from a legal sentence to something more like a final accountant. And the key to understanding this is a single Arabic word, deen. Now, this word has layers. It can mean religion, judgment, or recompense. But its root meaning, the one that holds it all together, is debt. So the day of judgment, Yawm el-Din, is literally the day the debt is settled. I think a good way to picture this is with two windows. This life, the dunya, is when the repayment window is wide open. Time is what allows us to settle our accounts, to make things right. But the hereafter, Yawm el-Din, that's the moment the window slams shut. The books are closed, the accounts are final. And for anyone thinking, well, maybe the accounts can be reopened later, the Quran confronts that idea directly. It asks basically, did God give you a special promise? Or are you just making things up about him? The idea that punishment is just temporary is presented as pure human guesswork. Once the books are closed, they stay closed. So what does it actually feel like to carry an unpaid balance into a place where there's no time? What are the consequences of that? You know, in this life, we have an incredible gift, the mercy of forgetting. Time really does heal wounds. It dulls the sharp edges of our regrets. But the source material says that in the hereafter, our vision is sharp as steel. There's no fading, there's no forgetting, there's just perfect, unending clarity. I want you to really try to feel this for a second. Think about your single biggest regret, that hot, sinking feeling of shame. Now, imagine that feeling never, ever going away. It stays just as raw and intense as the second it happened, forever. That's the weight of an unpaid debt in a timeless reality. To pull all of this together, there's one last incredible allegory from the source material that just makes everything click. It's the story of the house that you built. So the story goes like this. A builder is hired to construct a beautiful home, and he's told spare no expense. But he gets greedy. He secretly cuts corners, uses shoddy materials, and covers up all the flaws with a nice, shiny finish.
When the house is done, he presents it to the owner, so proud of himself. The owner looks it over, smiles, and then hands the keys to the builder and says, "This house is for you. I was having it built for you all along." Hence, there it is, this life, it's the construction site. Our actions, our choices, our integrity, we're the builders. And we're not building for anyone else. We're building our own eternal home. So the day of judgment isn't some trial. It's just the handover. It's the moment we're given the keys. And the hereafter is just us, living permanently in the house that we ourselves chose to build.
So let's bring it all the way back to that paradox we started with. That whole problem of infinite suffering versus infinite relief. It was never really about the math. It was a signpost telling us that we were using the wrong tools, that we were trying to measure something that our time-bound minds just couldn't grasp on their own. And when you look at it this way, the whole concept of eternity stops being some abstract philosophical puzzle. It becomes deeply personal. It becomes urgent. The tools are in your hands, the materials are all around you, and the construction is happening right now. So I guess the only question left is, what kind of house are you building?